Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for watching the PowerPoint. I apologize that this is the PowerPoint class for August 3rd's class. Unfortunately, I had a family concern come up that requires some medical attention, so I will not be able to be at class tonight. However, I wanted to share the recording so that you guys could go through it. The assignment is uploaded currently. This will be uploaded by 3:30 p.m. You'll have plenty of time to go through it. Today, like we mentioned last time, we are talking about advocacy and the DSP role that is associated with it. It's a pretty extensive topic. Advocacy is something that when we were learning about the timeline of a DSP and what it entails, that really goes hand in hand with why we are able to make the advancements that we had made and are continuing to make for those we serve through the OPWDD world. So advocacy is a passion of mine, whether that is getting out and advocating in public, whether it's through community engagement, whether it's encouraging the individuals that we work with, whether it's behind the scenes in case management. Advocacy can look like a bunch of different things, and we'll talk about that a little bit today. I want to remind all of you, if there's any questions or concerns or comments about the uploaded video in tonight's PowerPoint that I'm going to share with you guys, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Matt. I did put in the assignments and announcements for today my cell phone again, so please don't hesitate. Even if it's during that time, I'll be busy, but I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can, or during the week. So I text, I call, I email. Please don't hesitate to not reach out. I want to know your feedback and what you have. With this assignment, or with this PowerPoint, there is an assignment. Like I said, it's uploaded. It's a two-part. You can pick one option. There's two different options. I did like offering that last week to you guys. It seemed to be, you responded well to it. So I'm going to offer it again. I'm going to continue to offer two options until I feel that it's not getting response. So please go in, look at the assignment. You only need to submit one assignment. They're both geared towards advocacy, so whatever seems to fit you the best. I'm going to share my screen right now so that I can get through the PowerPoint presentation. Sorry, I'm going to try again. Let's see. Here we go. Choose what I want to share. I'm sorry. Let's see. Not sure why it's not allowing me to. It's very strange. Let's try again. Okay, bear with me for 1 second while I try a different avenue, I guess. Give me 1 sec. Sorry, guys. Okay. Here we go. Perfect. Now we should be good. Sorry about that. Best laid plans. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. Yes. All right. So we're talking about advocacy, right? So we talked about that. We are, I'm going to click on this. That's great. There we go. Oh my goodness. Guys. Oh, what is going on? I think it's because today has been crazy. I'm sorry. I need to open each one. Oh. Hmm. Oh my goodness. What is going on? I can't see it, or I would totally like just go from here. I don't know what is going on with this or why. Okay. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's try view. Let's try this. I can't. I can't. Let's try this. Full screen. Oh my gosh. This is insane. Okay, I can see a little bit better now. Perfect. Okay, let's keep going. So, advocacy, the voice of the direct support professional. So, we're going to talk today a little bit, not only just about advocacy, but what it looks like in the confines of self advocacy, individual advocacy, systems advocacy, and legislative advocacy. We're going to break them all down. So, what you'll walk today with is a definition of advocacy and understand what advocacy really means to the DSP role and how we need to work through that in everything we do. When every time that we're with a person, advocacy should be in the back of our mind. And we need to really see it as an ethic. You'll see that I put it in your assignments, the code of ethics. I put the competencies and stuff like that. Why? Because I want you to remember that advocacy is one of our DSP code of ethics. We have to be thinking about this. We need to recognize advocacy as an ethical responsibility and not just an option. Like, I don't really feel comfortable advocating. You always need to feel comfortable advocating for our individuals. And know the 4 types of advocacy. So be able to identify the self, the individual, the systems, and the legislative, and how we can apply it daily and learn practical ways that DSPs can apply this daily to everyday components that when you're working with a person. And practice with a scenario. Apply advocacy skills to real life situations. How does that look? Why is that important? How does it translate? We're going to talk about all those things. All right, so I want you guys to all think about a time when someone spoke up for you. How did it make you feel? And why was it important? Okay. This is crucial. These 2 questions for you to feel as the DSP, because it's the easiest and quickest way to put ourselves in the shoes of those we serve. If I can't get anything through to you today, that needs to be huge, that you are asking, how would this make me feel? Okay. Now think what happens when a person receiving services has no one to speak up for them. They might not know what they're doing. They might not have family. They might not have support. They might not have care management. Maybe the only person that they have is you. And why would they entrust and find, self-determination and trustworthiness in you as the DSP to train them to be self-determined for themselves, right? So what is advocacy? All right, advocacy means supporting, protecting, promoting the rights, choices, and dignities as well as and well-being of the other person. Again, supporting, protecting, promoting the rights, choices, and the dignity and well-being of another person. A DSP's role is not to make decisions for someone. That is not advocacy. And a DSP role is, however, there to help people make informed decisions for themselves, right? We talked about that, the difference between a caregiver and a direct support professional. It is not your job, and advocacy is not about saying, well, I know, Shayna, that this is wrong, so we need to speak up for that. That is not true advocacy at its finest. Advocacy is working with Shayna to figure out how to support her to find her realization in what is happening, what is going on, what is being said, the conversation, the engagement that is protecting Shayna and promoting that she is an individual that can think for herself, speak for herself, and make these choices because she deserves to make these choices. Why does advocacy matter, right? So the people that we serve experience lots of different forms of life experiences or day-to-day interactions or occurrences. Some of those can be discriminatory. Some of them can provide barriers in communication, right? If the person's verbal, nonverbal, volatile, non-volatile, whether they have sign language, whether they don't, those all can be a barrier. Accessibility challenges, can they get to the correct place to do what they need to do? They might have limited opportunities, or there might be assumption about their abilities. Shayna is not competent enough to make this choice. So a DSP, though, our job is to remove those barriers. They're going to come up. We need to understand and accept that, but removing them is what our main aim needs to be. So there's 4 types of advocacy that we talked about in the beginning. There's self-advocacy, which is helping someone speak for themselves, whether that's, I know we talked about last time, like at the doctor's office, whether it's at the grocery store, whether it's with their family. There's individual advocacy, speaking with and supporting one's person. So how do they personally feel about that? How do they want that conveyed that they feel? There's system advocacy, which is working to improve policies and services. That's overarching, but it can also be systems within that person's team of support, day-to-day interactions, independent lifestyle, right? Systems would be, do they have a breakdown with their care manager that they need to get through? Is there something with their rep payee that they need to get past or have them understand or understand better themselves? And then there's legislative advocacy, which is influencing laws that improve the lives of those we help, right? So it could be speaking out, it could be going to rallies, it could be working with agencies that, encourage and support the individuals that we serve. Advocacy happens literally every day. Okay, so helping someone advocate can look like some of the following things, even though they're minute. Remember, I told you at the beginning, it can be very large when we think of advocacy, but advocacy can be very small. Helping someone choose their own meal, understanding paperwork or mail that has come, obtaining employment, that is also advocacy. Reporting abuse or neglect, that is not just advocacy that you have to do and is mandatory. It is what is right for those we serve. scheduling medical appointments, helping them vote, attending community events, right? That's that individual advocacy, and exercising their rights, helping them understand that who they are is just as important as what they want to surround themselves with. So, advocacy versus someone speaking for you. Okay. We're not going to go into too much because I feel like you guys actually understand quite a bit about what advocacy is, but I want to talk, it's good practice versus poor practice. And a lot of agencies that you might work for or jobs tend to lean towards the poor advocacy side. And I'm really here to teach you that advocacy needs to be person-centered. So good advocacy asks, what would you like? Not, oh, well, I see there's 3 frozen dinners in your freezer. Shayna, let's just pick the chicken pot pie. That's poor advocacy. I know what's best. I know as your worker, as your direct support professional, what is best. Okay. I'm just picking one and that's what you're going to eat. Instead of something like, Shayna, there's 3 frozen meals in your freezer. What are you feeling like today? Here are the 3 options. Is there one that sounds better to you? This one takes 45 minutes to prepare. This one takes 20 minutes to prepare. I know you either have the time or you don't. Let's talk about that. What would you like? You have to remember that your choice is a right, even when you do not disagree with something that your person might be working with. If that person says, I want the 45-minute deal, and you are like, well, Sheena, you really only have 20 minutes. How are you going to work through that? Are you going to say, well, you're wrong, we can only do this one? No, you're not, because that is not person-centered. You're going to say, let's talk about this. Why would I lead towards this? Well, because maybe, Shana, you only have 20 minutes. Maybe tomorrow you could have this meal that takes a little bit longer because you have longer. The Code of Ethics, so the DSP Code of Ethics, reflects many ethical responsibilities. All of these things listed are ethical responsibilities, and advocacy is a part of all of them. It is respect. It is dignity. It is inclusion, working with the other person. It is self-determination. It is confidentiality, and it is professionalism. Ethics guides every advocacy decision that we have. Are we being respectful? Are we serving dignity to those we work with? Are we being inclusive in our speech, in our mannerisms, in what we're doing? Are we training this individual to be self-determined? Are we helping with the confidentiality about it and not spreading this to everybody, that we are working with this individual to work with just that person on the team and not tell everybody about it? Are we being professional in this? So let's talk about a real life scenario. Okay. Maria wants a job at a local grocery store. Her family believes that she should stay at home because they worry she'll fail. We talked about this a little bit last time. As the DSP, what should you do? Again, we talked about this. We need to listen to Maria. Maria's who we're working with. Yes, Maria's family is a part of the role, but Maria is person-centered. She is who we have on our caseload. Maria is who we have in our layout plan, who we've set the goals with, right? So we also need to help her through this. We need to help her apply for the job, like it says here, but also her respect to choose that whatever job she picks, it needs to be the right job for her. Her family can have input. Her family can be a part of this, but part of your job as the DSP might be advocating for Maria with her family. Why do you feel this would be good for Maria? What has Maria stated to you and why she's ready for a job? What would giving Maria the opportunity to apply for a job, help Maria to learn that are aligned with her goals, right? You can help facilitate that advocacy with Maria and her family and still do these things as well as coordinate supports that align with this. You can say, I understand your concerns. I see where you're coming from. Maria and I have talked about this. Maria helped me line up a job coach. Maria helped me talk about a job that she could walk to if she needed to, or could take public transportation to so she doesn't need to rely on her family. All those things are considered advocacy. So some of the challenges with advocacy that we face as DSPs, it can be difficult. There can be a lot of times when individuals' families or the systems that have been built up over the years are going to kick back at what the individual says, whether that's due to stereotyping, whether it's due to discrimination, whether it's due to fear. There could be multiple reasons, but it is a barrier. So some of the barriers could be staffing shortages. That could be huge. If Maria wants to get a job and you know that Maria needs a job coach in order to succeed and they cannot get her in with a job coach, are you going to set Maria up for failure? Or are you going to help Maria figure out a time or a job that works best so that maybe you're there with her during that time, or being patient until they can get her in with staffing, things like that. There could also be lack of resources. I don't know, maybe there are not a lot of jobs that would hire someone with Maria's intellect or Maria's that could, go with Maria's disability, things like that. There could also be lack of resources to help Maria succeed. Is the job that she wants completely off the bus path and she cannot get to it? That could be a lack of resources for a ride. Are you going to set her up at a job she'd get fired for if she doesn't have a ride to get there? You cannot always guarantee these things. There could also be certain agency policies. Like there are some agencies that will not allow you to work community habilitation, which you could be their direct support professional, while they're working. You cannot be on the clock while maybe Maria's on the clock. There are agency policies like that. Your role as the direct support professional, whether it's if it's not in home, could be like a day program. Maybe you are not allowed to work with the people that you see in day program. Okay. Transportation, we just talked about that. That can be a list of resources, but or barriers and lack of resources, but transportation is huge. Transportation can be a big barrier for advocacy. Can they get to their doctor's appointments? Could they get to jobs? Are they able to leave their house if necessary? Do they have to rely on somebody else to make this happen for them? Communication barriers. You need to think about that and work through that with your person. Or this giant fear of conflict. What if I don't do something right, Shayna? What does that look like for these people? What if I can't get into my doctor's appointment today, but I'm not feeling well? What if I run out of money in my bank and my rep payee doesn't transfer what I need? Good advocates remain professional while finding solutions. That's huge. Finding solutions is big, very big in what we do. Always think outside of the box. Things that seem very simple or oriented to you might not be the same for somebody else. Becoming an effective advocate. So we want to listen first, okay? We want to know the person's rights. What do they have the right to do? We want to document any concerns, obstacles, or barriers that we're coming up with so we can see those, the individual can see those, and we can work through those together. We need to continually communicate professionally with them and collaborate with not only them, but their team, which could be very large team or a very small team. And we want to empower our individuals instead of controlling them. Remember, it is not what you want. It is what they want. Okay, Ask yourself this in our final reflection slide. Am I speaking for someone, or am I helping somebody find their own voice? That is a big question to ask yourself as a DSP. The more you do it, the more you advocate, the more you will find that this question that seems very big is actually, in essence, small if you continuously do it, because you will tend to teach yourself how to redirect in person-centered fashion. Advocacy is much more than speaking up for someone. It's making sure every individual has the opportunity to speak for themselves, make informed choices, and live the life that they choose. Direct support professional, we are not simply caregivers. We are partners, we're educators, and we're advocates who help remove barriers so people can fully participate in their communities. All right, so I am going to stop sharing, stop presenting. Advocacy in a nutshell, right? So again, I want you to reflect on this PowerPoint. If you need to go back through, you absolutely can, okay? Then I want you to go and do the assignments. You will get through them because I guarantee that all of you have had some form of advocacy. And if you haven't, you're able to choose the case study and go through that. Please contact me. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Advocacy will come up repeatedly throughout this course. I know we're in week 4. We will always refer to advocacy because it is huge to what we do. Again, any questions, comments, concerns, please reach out. Some of the things you're going to talk about or that you've learned about, you absolutely can relate to some of your e-badges. So please don't hesitate if something aligns maybe with one of your assignment prompts that would work for an advocacy badge, please utilize that. Okay. All right. You guys have a wonderful week. Thank you again for being so flexible. I really appreciate it. Good luck tonight. Let me know if you need any help on the assignments. Have a great week.